What?
I have the interview.
For what?
A tourist visa for America. I can come there right after you leave.
No.
What?
That's not realistic.
You don't want?
For someone who's travelled across the world to see him, it seems like Amanda really doesn't want Razvan to return the favour so soon. So is this relationship moving a little too quickly for her?
I don't know. I just don't want to wait like such a long time, like 1 year or...
Like, are you telling me I'm not willing to wait and be by your side to make sure your children are okay with it?
This feels unfair because Razvan's proven how patient he's willing to be with Amanda. But we'll get to that shortly. First, let's go back to the beginning. When we left Amanda and Razvan in the last episode, the vibes were a little weird. Amanda was acting odd, and it's glaringly obvious to everyone that Amanda is moving on a bit too soon after the death of her husband. Look, maybe Rezvan is the right guy for her. Maybe they're perfect together. It's still too early to say. But what I think is clear is this isn't the right time for them. So after their first night together, a night of sleep and just sleep, will the pair now get back into their groove? Will they discover in person the chemistry that they so clearly had when dating online?
You're taking too long with my coffee.
I'm not a barista.
You're a barista today.
Is it just me, or does that come across as a bit aggressive from Amanda? I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen that from her since she's arrived in Romania. Personally, I was a bit shocked at how rude and aggressive she was with Razvan in the last episode about him not leaving enough space in his bathroom for her.
Oh, look, let me put my brush here. Oh, it falls off because there's no room.
I will make some. I will do some
Yeah,
space.
why didn't you do before I arrive?
Maybe this is her being playful, or maybe it's her showing her real personality. Either way, it's certainly a change from the sad, meek woman that we were introduced to. I guess the question is this really how Amanda truly is in a relationship? Or is this just a sign that she's got a wall up? That she's trying to find things that are wrong and pick fights so that she can find fault with Razvan rather than maybe admitting that she made a mistake leaving her kids and coming to Romania so soon after the passing of her husband. Wherever the truth lies, one thing is for sure. We've got solid proof that Amanda's a psychopath. I mean, just watch this.
Why do you sleep with your socks on? Like, who sleep with socks?
A lot of people.
Like,
Stop it.
No, Amanda, no. That is just plain wrong. Now, despite sharing a bed, the pair did stay clothed last night. In fact, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Razvan, wearing his tighty whities, is probably as dressed as we're likely to see him for most of this season. But despite admitting that she has serious physical attraction towards him, Amanda is pretty set on taking her time and getting comfortable with him before they get intimate. I think that's a great idea, especially because she seems to turn into a giggly schoolgirl every time he brings up the topic of sex.
I hope when we will have sex, we will not with socks on, because it will be weird.
Oh my God.
You know?
Now, Amanda is 31 years old and she was married to her late husband for 8 years, which means she would have been around 23 when they wed. So, while yes, she has 2 kids and she is a mum, her giggly attitude towards sex has me curious just how much experience she's had with other men before marriage. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that the number itself is important, but what it could help us to understand is why she seems quite so uncomfortable, and also how naive and worldly wise she really is. In the last episode, Rezvan himself said something that at the time I thought might have been a miscommunication, but now I'm curious whether he actually meant he's the only other man that she's ever been with.
You know, it's the first day that we see each other. It's the first night that she will spend with other men than her husband.
Now, coming back to the present, One thing we're starting to see more and more of is Amanda's sense of humour. Again, it could be, I guess, interpreted as a bit offensive, but I don't think it's intended like that. It's just what she finds funny, and Razvan seems to be on entirely the same level too.
I'm just going to take a shower, okay?
Okay, good. Because you stink. I didn't want to tell you.
Thank you. Oh my God. This is good.
Razvan seems like a genuine guy. Remember, he's younger than Amanda. He's only 26, but he's really emotionally mature and he seems to understand what Amanda needs. And, perhaps most importantly, he makes her laugh. I think right now that's exactly what Amanda needs, and I think laughter is kind of what holds these two together. Razvan's an entertainer at heart. I mean, that's what he does for a living, which is fortunate because right now that's exactly what Amanda needs to escape from the reality of her situation. That makes Razvan the perfect rebound guy, but is he a life partner? Is he a father figure for her kids? Well, I think it's too early to say. We need more information before we can make that call.
I wanted you to feel good and to not feel uncomfortable, if this is a word that exists in it. You understand?
I know, you're sweet.
I love you.
Razvan is hyper aware that Amanda's going through something that's so big in her life that he can't possibly fathom it. And as a result, he's willing to be very patient with her. At this point, he is displaying all the right characteristics of a good boyfriend for her. But that has me suspicious. Everything seems to be a bit too perfect. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Will Razvan get tired of waiting? Does the fact that he has women lusting over him on his social media mean that despite what he says, actually he's gonna get tired of waiting?
It's difficult to talk with Rezvan about my emotions because it's supposed to be a fun, exciting trip, and I don't want to bring down the mood.
My heart breaks for Amanda here. How long has she not been allowing herself to feel real emotions, to process the grief, because she doesn't want to bring down the mood for her two kids at home? That's really sad, and it raises a red flag that she feels like she can't talk to Razvan honestly about how she's feeling. That tells me that their relationship might not yet be ready for this trip that she's on. But what's for sure is that Amanda definitely wasn't ready to leave her kids behind.
Right before we left Rezvan's apartment, my son Junior called and he asked to talk with Rezvan, and then out of nowhere, Junior says, "Oh, my dad died."
Amanda is really caught off guard by this, and it must be heartbreaking to hear your young child say that, hear them try and process what's happened. Right now, as a loving, caring mum, I'm sure all she wants is to be with Junior, but it was her decision to go to Romania. And now, this event, the guilt that she feels for not being there, is going to derail her entire day.
Makes me feel like I don't know if I should have come here or not. A chance for us versus like my children's well-being. Like, I don't want to like hurt them.
It's only natural for Amanda to feel this way, and I know that there's been a lot of people online who are criticising her for her choice to leave her kids for 3 weeks. But I don't think there can be any doubt at all how much she loves her kids. She's stuck in an impossible situation, and it's obvious that she's barely holding her head above water. At the end of the day, it's only by having this experience that she's going to realise whether or not she's made a mistake with Razvan. But I think we can all see she needs the cloud of grief to clear a bit before she can make that decision.
There's nothing really, there's no like guidebook to get you through this. You just have to do your best. What if I leave early? Would you be like upset?
Yes, I would be.
If I leave to go back to see my kids because they're hurt?
Ouch, it's day one and Amanda is already proposing to end her trip early. Her kids are hurt, right? I get that, but they're not hurt as in they need urgent care kind of hurt. They're just as hurt as they were, say, 2 days ago when she was with them in person. And while I completely understand Amanda's desire to go home, it almost feels like she's using that phone call with her son as an excuse not to give the relationship a chance. This is her guilt surfacing here, and it does make me feel a bit bad for Razvan. Whatever he says here, however he advises her, he can't really win.
I don't know if it's really necessary to do that. Yes, I mean, I need to understand, but it doesn't mean that I will not be hurt.
The reason why this relationship is so complex is because of how quickly Amanda decided to jump back in the dating pool. That was her decision, and ultimately the responsibility lies with her, as, frankly, it should, because she's the one who's grieving. She's the one with 2 children to think about. But where does that leave Razvan? He can be understanding until the cows come home, but at the end of the day, being understanding instead of fighting for Amanda might mean he loses a relationship he really cares about.
I do feel sad that it's hard for her, but I'm hoping that, because we get some air and I show her the beauty of the city, that she will start enjoying her time here in Romania.
Here's the thing, right? If you could wave a magic wand and say, I want to create a perfect distraction for a young, attractive, grieving widow, there's a fairly good chance that someone very much like Razvan would pop up. He's young, playful, full of life, and he's got a great body on him, right? He's doing his very best to make Amanda forget her troubles. He seems to be understanding, and he's trying to live in the moment. He's trying to make her know that she feels loved. But when they grab a drink, and when Razvan offers Amanda a key to his apartment, that's when things start to go wrong.
I don't think I will be back in Romania for some time, so I don't need a key.
So then I will be there.
What?
I don't really understand why Amanda is so taken aback by this. Razvan reveals that he's applied for a tourist visa to the US so that just as she's visited him, he can go and visit her. They're in a relationship after all. They're dating. They're telling each other that they love each other. This trip was meant to solidify that. It was meant to give them an opportunity to plan for their future. So when Razvan is trying to do exactly that, why is Amanda acting completely blindsided by it?
I can come there right after you leave.
No.
What?
That's not realistic.
You don't want?
This is all moving too fast for Amanda. It's obvious that she can't quite catch her breath. Here she is, doubting whether or not she should have come here in the first place. And now, Razvan's proactiveness, what he thought would be a nice surprise, turns out to really scare her. This is the wake-up call that maybe she needed. This relationship isn't a game, at least not for him. And it becomes very clear that she, in this moment, has just realised how not ready she is to really move on.
I have to think of my kids.
Okay.
And I think it's just way too soon.
Yeah, then after 1 month.
I don't know.
To be fair, it is their first day together. Razvan could have probably waited to tell her at the end of their trip so as not to overwhelm her, so as to actually make sure that they get along in person. But I think the reason why he revealed this now is he probably panicked. He thought that she might be about to cut her trip short and fly home. Amanda's reaction is a bit of a blow, and Razvan's taken a few hits today already. So now he's beginning to question how Amanda really feels.
I know the kids come first, but I feel like she's not even trying to make things so the kids understand. Like, look, Mama is me, this guy, she cares about me.
This is a really tough one because Razvan isn't wrong, but then again, neither's Amanda. She's absolutely 100% right to put her kids first, and introducing a man that she's not 100% sure about would definitely be a mistake. But I can't help but feel that she's using her kids as a way of almost trying to slow things down with Razvan. The problem is, she's not being honest with him about how she's truly feeling. It almost feels like the two of them are in two very different relationships. Razvan is fully ready, it seems, to spend his life with Amanda. But Amanda's still in fact-finding mode. She's still trying to assess whether Razvan's a good fit for her and her family.
I don't know, I just don't want to wait like such a long time, like 1 year or...
Like, are you telling me I'm not willing to wait and be by your side to make sure your children are okay with it?
This here is the perfect example of the difference in their power dynamic. Here's Razvan expressing his wants and his needs. But because of her delicate situation, at any time Amanda can make him look selfish for that. She holds all the cards. Is that fair? Is Razvan not allowed to feel what he feels? Is he not allowed to hesitate at the idea of waiting for Amanda indefinitely?
It's a very delicate situation, and I want to be certain about the relationship before my kids are involved.
That is very reasonable, but the problem is, with her barriers up the way they are at the moment, if the first 24 hours are anything to go by, there might not even be a relationship by the time she's ready.